Hello and welcome to another episode of the Clint Cronin Show. I'm a Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt showing you how people are applying Jiu Jitsu and other martial arts to making their lives better. Again, I want to thank you for checking out my show, downloading it, checking out my sponsors, Azoth, that's A-Z-O-T-H. Those guys are awesome. Be sure and tell Pratty that I sent you by using the keyword Cronin, C-R-O-N-I-N, at checkout for 15% off. Azoth is a nootropic, which is like a pre-workout or a supplement for your brain. You know, you take creatine or you take whey protein for your muscles, but what are you going to take for your brain? You ever sitting there just procrastinating, checking out YouTube or Facebook on your phone, spending way too much time on the toilet at work? Well, this stuff will kick your ass into gear. You're thinking you're always, short on time. You need more time to get more things done. The stuff in your life you really want to do. You always say, I don't have enough time for training or for that project or for that side business, a thing I really want to do. I just don't have time. Well, man, you got to make time. Azoth, A-Z-O-T-H, is a powerful nootropic that will keep you focused, creative, and will just keep your ass in gear. There's no caffeine, but it's definitely not stimulant free. So go ahead and check them out. It's Seeking Azoth. That's SEEKING-AZOTH.com. with a coupon code or promo code of Cronin. That's C-R-O-N-I-N. But you already knew that because you're listening to the Clint Cronin Show. So everybody knows Cronin, seekingazoth.com at checkout. That'll get you 15% off on all of your orders there. Now, this week, I've got Christian Graugart from the BJJ Globetrotter. He's an awesome guy. He's been around the world. He's got a book called the BJJ Globetrotter, fitting name. And he's got these BJJ camps. So he does jiu-jitsu camps all around the world at these really cool spots. He's been doing, I think, like 10 or 20 a year, but you'll hear all about that in this week's episode. I'm a day late getting this out because I'm just on the road doing these shows. Got some all over Southern California, San Diego, LA, over in Las Vegas a couple times. I'll actually be on my buddy's show this week as well, so look for more info coming up on that. Over the weekend, I also spent a little bit of time with my good friend Tom Lawler. We went and watched WrestleMania over at Sam's Town in Las Vegas. And man, the fans are crazy for pro wrestling. As you guys know, I make no, I'm not ashamed to say it, but I'm also a pro wrestling fan. I've gone through and done some pro wrestling training and stuff before in the past. Tom, as you know, is a current pro wrestler, and before his UFC and mixed martial arts career, he was also in pro wrestling as well. He's worked in companies like Ring of Honor, and it was a pretty cool show. The fans are extremely passionate. I know Bill Goldberg and Brock Lesnar, so all the MMA guys out there, everybody knows Brock Lesnar, right? Well, he became the new Universal Champion of the WWE at WrestleMania, and some fans of Goldberg, his opponent, I guess didn't take too likely to that and actually threw a beer bottle across the room, landed about one table over from where I was sitting. It almost hit one of our friends in the head. Thank God he was cool about it. It wasn't violent. There were, a good 1,000 or so people in attendance at Sam's Town in their arena. So it was cool that nobody freaked out, that it went down peacefully, because that place was packed. We actually ran into Violent J from the Insane Clown Posse. He was watching the show there as well. So really nice guy. I didn't realize what he looked like without the makeup on. Not the biggest ICP fan, but I have a lot of friends that are, and I see what they're doing. They have extremely loyal fans, and some of the music's kind of cool. I haven't really bought any of their stuff, but anybody that has that diehard fan base like that, there's got to be something to it, right? Well, anyway, I want to thank everybody for listening. There's a YouTube channel. I'm on Instagram at Clint Cronin and at Clint Cronin Show. Kind of if you want to see what I'm up to versus what the show's up to. I keep them kind of separate, but they're the same thing, really, right? Anyway, thanks again. Be sure and share, subscribe, like, and check out my sponsor. Check out Azoth, A-Z-O-T-H. It's seekingazoth.com. Promo code Cronin at checkout for 15% off. It'll get your ass in gear. You'll be more focused. You'll be more creative. You'll have more energy, and you'll be ready to go all day long. So check them out, seekingazoth.com, promo code Cronin. On with the show. We got lots of great stuff coming up next week as well. This week, Christian Graugart, BJJ Globetrotter. Be sure and check his book out on Amazon. I think there's a Kindle version. Just get the paperback, get the Kindle version, and check him out on this podcast. That's Christian Graugart, Clint Cronin Show, episode 34. Thanks. Live via satellite is what we used to call it, but live over Skype. Christian Graugart from the BJJ Globetrotter. Thanks for finally being able to come online. It's been no thanks to technical difficulties on my part. I think a Gulf of Mexico in between us, and shoddy internet connections in both countries, or 3 countries between the 2 of us. But welcome.
Don't forget to mention you had to take a 35-minute poop.
No, that was a tremendous dump. I feel much better now.
It was a beautiful thing.
It is. It's the coffee and then acai.
Oh, that's the worst. Was it purple or?
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't check. I was more on the sanitary side of things. I was trying to rush that along, but
that's usually like the competition poop color is purple because of all the acai.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It's something I like to call the lie detector breakfast. Basically, the lie is I ate healthy over the weekend, and basically you can tell if you have bulletproof coffee, so coffee plus MCT oil and grass-fed butter plus your acai bowl, and those 3 things together. The lie is basically I ate well, and you know you didn't because you're in the toilet for the next 45 minutes getting rid of all that. It's so much like fiber and sugar and all this stuff.
That sounds horrible.
Oh, it's tremendously gratifying. I'll tell you that much.
And imagine how many white belts like read articles about. Oh, I need the bulletproof coffee. I need the acai for a competition, and they're super nervous and they have diarrhea. And there's no toilet paper at the Europeans and 4,500 people. White belt day is a nightmare in the bathrooms, by the way, in Portugal.
Oh, my.
Anyway, we came from the interview.
No, this is all part of it, man. This is all part of it. We are free form as it gets here. This is the modern day, so we can say whatever we want. Yeah. So the last I heard, you are in St. Bart's now. Is this correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right. I've
sending live from a rock in the Atlantic.
So how did this come to be? I mean, I read your book. I picked that up just right after it came out, I think. You shared a flight initially on your journey to from Southern California to Northern California with one of my teammates, Tom Gaugart.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. He was right next to me in the plane, and I ended up training in his gym. That was kind of funny.
So
I forgot all about that.
That's where I train. I'm a One World Jiu Jitsu black belt.
All right. I still have the T-shirt there from there. It's great. That's one of the best T-shirts. It's probably the only T-shirt I still have from that trip that still kind of fits. It was like 6 years ago, and I still use it.
Awesome.
Nice T-shirt, great quality. I will say this now on the record. One World Jiu Jitsu makes the best Jiu Jitsu T-shirts, like gym T-shirts. There you go.
Perfect.
And I even sell T-shirts, so I mean, I'm being super honest here.
I have very high standards for T-shirts. I've been going to all different people that make them. They do direct to garment printing, all this stuff, and I am very neurotic about the fabric that I wear. So not just for shirts of my own stuff I'm trying to get rid of or distribute, whatever, but just.
Wait, were you in charge of those T-shirts, or?
I wasn't, but I feel like they were done right, and I've
those when you wash them like twice, then it looks like more like a little top for a girl or something, like a bra.
Yeah, like a crop top or something.
Yeah, I still look pretty buff in that 6-year-old T-shirt though. I like it.
Oh, it's perfect, man. I feel like if the cotton or the shirt has to be like that poly blend cotton where it's like very soft almost to where like it's not there. Otherwise, I can't wear it. I can't wear like these very thick, like heavy T-shirts that they're really popular here. I hate them. I just the way it feels on my body. I'd rather not wear anything, which is probably TMI. But you just rather be naked. Yeah, it's easier. I got so sick of going to the tech job every day. You have to dress up, you have to do all this stuff. So I deliberately live in California, not where I'm from. I'm from back east, like New York, New Jersey area, and everyone I know wears a suit to work every day, and they go in and they sit there and they're 3-hour commute per day through the city. Everybody's angry. I just want to train jiu-jitsu and not be bothered. But
sounds like a horrible smell.
Oof. Oh yes. Too many people.
Yeah.
So, what brought you to St. Bart? Was it along your travels? I mean, how did you go from Europe to Paradise? It
was pretty random, to be honest. Wait. What just happened? 1 second. Did I just disappear or something? Oh, here.
You did, but your logo comes up whenever that happens, so it's still fine.
Okay, that's it. I'm here. Okay. It was super random. I did that trip around the world, and I read the book. I wrote the book, and a guy who lives here, he read it, and he emailed me and said, "Hey, we're a small group of guys who live in St. Bars." I have no idea what that is, by the way, at that point. And small group, and we have no one to train with, really, like 5-10 people. And he's invited me over to teach a little bit for a few weeks. So I flew over there and was teaching here for like 2.5 weeks. Came back the next year and next year again, and that's when I started to do these Globetrotters camps. And one of the camps were here. We did that a few times, and every time I came here, I was like, oh, it's kind of interesting, like most people here moved here from France, and it's part of the EU. I had no idea. Like when he emailed me the first time, I was like, what on earth is St. Bart's? I have no idea. It sounded like just a city in France or something. So I looked it up and I realized, wait, I had to zoom out on the Google map, like really far out to see, this is actually in the middle of the Atlantic, and tiny island with 9,000 people. And every time I came here, I was like, yeah, it could be interesting, but you often go on a holiday or something, you like the place, you're like, maybe I should live here, and it never, ever, happens. But after three visits here, 3 winters in a row, I told my friend here, hey, if like by any chance, if you hear about something like an apartment or something, maybe let me know. I sold my gym at home. I kind of cut all the ties I had to obligations at home, and was just kind of floating around and waiting for some opportunity to pop up. And then I flew home, and like 1 week later, he emailed me and like, "Yep, I have an apartment for you, and you need to decide right now." So it's like, oh shit. So we made a quick decision to move, and it took like 10, 11 months of preparations to get here. But been here for more than 5 months now, I think. Yeah, I was like, I got the offer. I would hate myself if I didn't at least try. There's no way I couldn't at least try to go and see how it went. So yeah, that's it. And here I am in my hammock with my jungle.
A hammock in the jungle does not sound like a bad deal.
No.
I'm guessing the plunge was much easier to sort of take into moving out there after you've already essentially been around the world. I mean, you've already sort of taken a huge jump into the unknown by doing that. So I think maybe this is like a good icebreaker. Yeah, well, I mean, traveling has been kind of, I've traveled for many, many years, and I think not that that's kind of special, but of course, yeah, I don't know. If I never traveled before, I would be more scared about it. But I've been here for like 3 years in a row and started to know the place, got a lot of friends, and enjoy the training with the guys here. And so for me, it was very easy to move here. And as it's technically France, so I don't need any paperwork or permissions to go here. I just needed a plane ticket. So that was it. And 5 months, yeah, time flies. It's been nice. I enjoy it. So have you been there for a storm season yet? I mean, anything catch you off guard?
No. There's been one snake outside of my house. That's about it.
Oh, man.
That's it. I wasn't even there when it was here. So, but that's about it. No storms or anything. But there's a hurricane season at some point. October or something. We'll see. I like it. I'm if I could, I would be a storm chaser. If I didn't do jiu-jitsu, I would probably be a storm chaser. I love that shit. I love extreme weather.
Oh yeah. So far I've been through tornadoes, not like in it, but I've been in a town when we've had several hit. And I was living in West Texas for a bit. We had hurricanes where I grew up in New Jersey, and then blizzards in upstate New York, or actually in New Jersey as well. So this stuff's all so cool. I'm also very much fascinated in it, but there's those movies like, what was The Day After Tomorrow or something, and then 2012 was like weather porn, the most extreme sort of version.
Well, I grew up in Denmark. I lived there for like almost 35 years. And in Denmark, nothing in nature can kill you, pretty much. Like there are no natural disaster. Like I can't even think. I think the most dangerous animal is like a bee or something.
Oh,
So
man.
it's like I don't have any of that stuff. So I've been in quite many earthquakes, but I never felt any of them. I'm so disappointed. Even here, there was an earthquake the other day, and I didn't feel anything. I think I was training, so I was probably rolling and didn't feel it.
I've felt one or two very minor ones. So living up near San Francisco, we have them. Obviously, it's a famous thing over here, but I've only ever felt them 2 times and very, very minor. I recall one time being I was working on my car. I was doing something, and I sat down to look a manual up or something on my phone, and for whatever reason, I had the radio on, and it felt like I was going over a speed bump, in a driveway. And I was just thinking, okay, well, wait a minute. I'm not moving. And something just clicked in my head. Like, I'm in my car chair. I felt the shock absorbers, like the back of the car kind of bounce, just, subtle. Like I was going over a little speed bump or something. And then I realized, oh, the car isn't moving. And then I jumped to Twitter, and all of a sudden, it says Sunnyvale earthquake was trending everywhere, which is obviously like how we get our news now in the world. So confirmed it was a 6 something, I believe. But it was so minor, nothing happened. But I know the house I have here, there are stress fractures that you can see in the walls and things from seismic movements and things. But doors don't close and open as they should. It's an older house, but I mean that could just be the board swelling or whatever with the weather. So your book initially came out. What was it? Was it 4 or 5 years back now?
Yeah, 2012. So that's like 5 years ago, 4.5 or something like this.
So the BJJ Globetrotter. I mean, it's an amazing journey. It's basically you go all around the world. It comes off the heels of some very some sad news. For that very sad situation. You encountered a pretty big loss in terms of a friend and training partner, and this inspired you to sort of grab life by the balls and just go and train and see the world.
Yeah, pretty much. That's pretty much the story. You just spoiled the entire book.
Oh no! This is it's very inspirational. I'm trying to do as much of it as I can. It's sort of gave legs or wings to my own sort of journey I'm on as well. Not necessarily traveling all over the world, but traveling all over the country anyway. I've been to a few other countries, not directly for jiu-jitsu, but I always brought my gi with me. And then the friendships and the relationships I've made and going, I would go on work travel, London or Singapore, Brazil, Portugal. And I'm not much for hanging out in the hotel or just going to bars. So I'd just bring my gi with me, and I would wind up making, all kinds of friends because of course you go and roll and train. And I mean, that's just how it works. And so now I'm kind of on this idea that, well, I like to train. I like to meet people. I like to travel. I like to experience the food, the culture, all this stuff. But, how do I cut out the bit between the getting up in the morning and going to the gym? Like, how do I make that the work? So this sort of the podcast and traveling around and, trying to compete a bit more, like that production stuff, like that's my kind of version of your globetrotting journey, or at least the mindset of it anyway.
Well, there are many ways to do it. You don't have to backpack around the world like a bum. You could also just invite people to your place. I mean, that's also a way of experiencing the world and somehow connecting with people. So,
oh, absolutely. That's actually a big part. So your books spun into kind of a jiu-jitsu community and a sort of a team and the couch surfing type thing. Could you talk a little bit about kind of how that all came about and what that is?
Yeah. So again, it all started kind of randomly, and I never like had a plan of, okay, in 4 years I'm gonna have like one of the biggest jiu-jitsu affiliations in the world and gonna do training camps every month. Or I never planned any of this. It's not like a master plan or like a business plan or something. It all kind of happens organically, and it started when I came home from my trip. we were going to the Europeans. We were like 10 guys heading to the Europeans, and I wanted to register my gym with IBJJF. And we couldn't use the gym's name, CSA, because someone else had that name in the US or something. I don't know. So we had to come up with another name. And I mean, my blog was the BJJ Globetrotter from that trip. And so I just came up with the team name BJJ Globetrotters. And we were like 12 people going or something. And they're like, hey, we should make a patch or something or t-shirts for the trip. And so I drew this patch with the bus and the palm trees and the sunset. And my friend, he kind of designed it. I printed a few of them, and I think I posted it on my Facebook. And like a bunch of people emailed me like, that's a cool patch, I want one. So I ended up just giving out a lot of them. And then they say, hey, we're also going to the Europeans, and we can't figure out the IBJJF super complicated paperwork of signatures and being friends with old Brazilians so they can sign some forms. I don't know. Yeah, sure. I just let them compete under the BJJ Globetrotters. They were my friends, and then the snowball just started rolling pretty much. That kind of turned into more and more people getting on board, and I thought, hey, this is a fun little alternative to the classic typical affiliations, the way they run, and so I just kind of went with it. We made some patches. I had a little bit of money from that. I used that to make I think like a rash guard or a t-shirt or something. And the snowball just started rolling. And like kind of parallel to that, I had a lot of people coming to visit me who I'd been staying with on my trip. Pretty much every week, because when I stayed with someone, I always invited them and all their training partners to come see me in Denmark. And a lot of people took me up on that offer. So like pretty much every week we had someone coming in to hang out and train. And at some point we were like, hey, if we have people coming every week, we should maybe try to, get them to come at the same week. And so I had like a bunch of friends coming and said, like, why don't you all come like this week and we'll do some fun. We'll set up a fun schedule for the week. And that kind of turned into the first little training camp thing where we're like 25 people or something, 30 people maybe, who came in to pretty much just to hang out and train. And I invited a few more friends to come and teach extra classes. And of course, we got super drunk every day and all that stuff. And that kind of turned into the camps, like parallel. And then Globetrotters started to turn into something. And, I just started to put the Globetrotters logo on our little get together, and here we are like 4 years later, and we have 300 affiliated academies and 10 11 camps a year or something, and like more than 1,500 people going through the camps every year, and a huge community of just like-minded people who likes to connect through jiu-jitsu and use it to it's just a bunch of tools to travel and network and meet people and just like connect with locals in another way that's really difficult if you don't have jiu-jitsu or something similar. So at this point, I have no like real plan or direction with BJJ Globetrotters. I have no idea how it's going to look in 6 months, to be honest, or next year. I just kind of it's become such a big like organic thing on its own that I kind of just lean back and I feed it good karma, and then I just see it kind of grow on its own. So it's really nice, and it also opens up a lot of opportunities for me socially and training wise. So and obviously I wouldn't be sitting in this hammock if it wasn't for these projects. So it's very exciting, and it feels like the right thing to do. I make a lot of people very happy and give them some, just create a lot of social connections for adults, which is, I think, is extremely difficult in today's society. So yeah, I guess that was a short version of the story. It's grown way beyond me, I would say. I just kind of managed it a little bit. So where did you go? Oh, there you are. Are you there?
I'm right there. All right.
Okay. Could you hear me at all? Or?
No, I heard every word you said.
Okay, good.
I cut the volume down on mine. There was some ridiculous airplane going overhead, and it was excruciating. So I cut the mic volume on my own channel right here. But
no worries.
So you're doing camps how often now?
Well, there's no set schedule, but whichever camp I want to do, I'll do it. And this year, I think it's 10 camps this year or something. So it's
wow.
It's really at the limit of what I can fit in my schedule.
And the most recent one I saw advertised is obviously the one there in St. Bart's, where we have a mutual friend acquaintance who's going to be on the roster teaching there, Patrick or Pirate.
All right, yeah, he fits right in with the theme.
Oh yeah,
his nickname. He got the job from his nickname.
It works out pretty well. He's have you met him in person already?
No, I haven't. The intel came out positive, so I decided to invite him over.
Very, very articulate, very thoughtful guy. He's a monster. He's like 6'7" or something. He's an extremely tall guy.
He's gonna love the little propeller airplane to get here.
Oh, I have to see pictures of him fitting in one. So I'm very much looking forward to that. Well, so and they're actually pretty affordable too. From the pricing stuff that I saw, it's actually pretty remarkable. I know there's some other similar things that they do in Rio, which I've seen be a bit pricey compared to what things in Rio cost if you were to do it on your own. But sort of having this sort of community and then sort of fortifying it with the online thing. And then the camps, the couch surfing is another thing where you mentioned that the Globetrotter is kind of grown beyond you and you kind of manage it. It's a community where people are going and they visit and you can advertise that you have, access to this gym or you have a couch that someone can rent or a room, like almost like Airbnb, but sort of plus jujitsu. Did that sort of spin out of, was this your idea or did this just kind of come up organically with the users sort of just messaging each other on their own?
I think, actually when during my round the world trip, I was really thinking a lot about, I was thinking this is pretty amazing. I've been on the road for 5 months. Every 3 days I go somewhere new and all I do is just look up some jiu-jitsu people. I go to a city or a country I never heard about before, and I look up a gym. I walk in there. I get everyone's ass in my face, and then suddenly we're all great friends, and we go party together, right? Like the physical barrier gets broken down immediately. So, and I was thinking, how on earth can I would love to share this experience with others. Like, how can I pass this on, and I know it takes quite an effort to do it. I mean, for me, I worked a lot on like building a blog and trying to find the connections of places to go. So one of my very first ideas was actually I registered like BJJ Globetrotting.com, which was the idea was to make like an actual couch surfing jiu-jitsu thing, but it never really materialized. I had a nice logo and stuff, but never really materialized. So that idea was kind of shelved. And then as the Globetrotters community eventually grew, we had the Facebook group, which now has almost 10,000 people. And it's used pretty much purely for finding connections when you travel or you go somewhere on a holiday or something, or you look for recommendations for a place to go. People connect in that like all day long. And at a later point, when Globetrotters had kind of grown into like a pretty big thing, I thought maybe it's time to pick up that idea again of doing like a couch surfing kind of thing, and that turned into the matsurfing.org thing where people can sign up if you have a couch and a place to train, and the rules are pretty simple. You can't charge money for anything, training or accommodation. It's like purely based on friendship kind of thing. And I wanted it to be, I've been holding back from making like a searchable kind of thing where you can just go up and look up a city and find someone to stay with. Like I kind of like the little romantic analog aspect of it, that it's in a newsletter. Every month you get a newsletter with like 8 or 10 locations you could go to, and you have to kind of sit and wait around for it. It's like getting a postcard or like physical letter in the mail. I think it's too easy. You can find anything right now online. So I think you need to put some to make a travel experience good. You need to put in some effort. It has to be a little bit difficult. So to sit and research and go through a newsletter and kind of email people directly. I think that was the approach I wanted to this one. And so it turned into a monthly newsletter of just like ads from people who can host visitors. So every month you'll get like a few ideas of where to go, and you can contact them and go for it. And eventually, we did make like a world map with pins of all the ads that's already been in the newsletters, but because there were so many, we just accumulated so many places that eventually you would have to go and look through archives of like 2.5 years of mat surfing newsletters, and you'll probably not find the place you're going. So it's great. I get so many stories from people going and staying with someone and training, and it's again, it's just another tool to try to help people get the same experience that I had on my trip, and I think it builds something really really healthy in the jiu-jitsu community.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny because all of the differences that people can have in the world, and God knows politics and every other thing that people like to be tribal about and decide is a divisive thing or a dividing thing. Like when you're on the mat and training in jiu-jitsu, everybody's kind of the same. So I feel like by having this community, they're already kind of vetted a bit. You kind of know that, okay, if these guys are training, that they're probably okay. I mean, we're not, there's no background checks or anything like but yeah. Just knowing that, okay, this.
Well, you're gonna run.
You could.
You're gonna eventually run into the douchebag black belt now and then who thinks he's better than everyone else. But most people are pretty cool.
They exist. They exist. I know. Just getting promoted myself, I'm like a year ago now. I think I wanted to go out and do every seminar I possibly could and train with every great instructor and do as much as I could to really make sure that my level was kept to a good, to a place that I'm comfortable with, just keeping up, if only that, especially working full time, trying to do this and trying to make sure that, I think a lot of people coast, and you do have the douchebag of every belt there are, and it can be really bad, especially, there's horror stories you're hearing about in the news, not often for us, but if you hear one, it blows up because we're a very small community. Yeah. If you're in this long enough, everybody kind of knows what everybody else is up to a degree.
Right.
But no, it's very good. I've seen one more sort of B&B type deal where they basically took the jiu-jitsu idea and did a Airbnb type deal, like like the Fighter House they kind of do on Ultimate Fighter, and they did almost a jiu-jitsu version of that where you can go and rent rooms, and they have a pool and mat space. They have little classes in the morning and stuff. It's over in Los Angeles, but it's not a free thing. It's actually a friend of mine actually runs it, and I've never been able to find space. They're always booked.
Right. But that's a good idea. It was I kind of had that thought for a long time, that at some point I should move somewhere exotic and build a little gym or something, but that was like a goal for me at some point. But then I realized it's just too complicated, and eventually actually the camps became my exotic gym. It's just without all the administration that's involved in running an academy. So the camps have pretty much turned into my home gym. I would say that's where I see my friends all the time, where I get the most of my toughest trainings, and I really enjoy that. And it's like it feels like it's a lot of people come back to the camps. You see people coming back again and again, and so it's really nice. It feels very familiar, and it just feels like we're one big gym that moves around the world all the time. And of course, now I teach here. It's kind of what I wanted.
So to the people out there that, are wondering if there's a way to really embrace jiu-jitsu and to find a place in the world, or to find a place in the industry where you can carve out your niche and do your own thing without necessarily going out and being the Bushesha or one of the Vieira brothers or something. This is like entirely possible. It takes creativity. It takes a lot of damn hard work, as you're obviously showing. But I feel like this is a testament that if you do believe in what you're doing, if you have passion for something, if you do the work, like, you can build a nice life for yourself on your own terms. You have to be very open to things. You have to kind of open up and say yes to the universe, which I believe in fully. Which, I mean, you've taken two, more than two, but two composite, like, very large risks, and they've paid off dividends. I mean, you're out there and you're living it up. You're doing what the exact thing I think a lot of people in this sport or art want to be doing, but don't.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of a big step, and it's not. I mean, it's more like I kind of made a decision at one point that, okay, I'm going to try to do something, I don't know, different with my life. And I think that's pretty common to think that, but I mean, it's been a lot of work, and it's been like complicated and to get to this point. But on the other hand, I think it would have been way more work for me to, I don't know, much harder to go to university and get a degree in something and study for like 5 years. The main difference is that there's no school teaching what I've been doing. You got to kind of come up with your own little, I don't know, way of doing it. So, but yeah. Yes. Can't complain.
No, absolutely. It's school of hard knocks, right? You have to go out there. And I mean, jiu-jitsu, I realized that if I went back to university and did something besides jiu-jitsu, I could have a PhD. I could be a brain surgeon by now. I mean, I couldn't be a brain surgeon. Let's clear that up. But time-wise, I could probably have a PhD in most things. It takes years and years and years of hard work and dedication and blood, sweat, and years, right? So, but and you come out the other end, and with a lot of hustle, you're on a hammock in a beautiful place. 5 months in, you've been around the world. You've got 11 camps this year. I mean, what kind of locations are you aiming for with these camps? Like, what are some you've done already?
Well, in general, the concept of the camps is actually extremely simple. I just the camps, I look at them more as like my own dream holidays, okay, where I just invite people to crash my holiday. That's pretty much it. I'm never if I get almost every day someone is messaging me and it's like, hey, why don't you let's do a camp in Bali or in, I don't know, Argentina, or do something on the West Coast. And it's like, and the way it really works is it's not like I have an office of 25 people sitting in and setting up camps all the time and researching locations, and I'm not looking at a world map and saying, oh well, there's no camps in Asia or on the U.S. West Coast. I should do something there because there's like an unexploited market. In reality, it's more like if I hear about a place I really want to go, and I see the logistics work out, I'm going to try and set up a camp there. That's the only thing. If I don't want to go there, if I have no if I have no urge to go somewhere, there's never going to be a camp, no matter how big of a business opportunity there could be there. So I think that's really what makes the camp works for me, is that these are my holidays. We set up a camp in Greenland, and just because I really wanted to go to Greenland, it made absolutely no sense from a business perspective. It's zero. But it was the best week ever, and in general, I think I stay really passionate about it because I designed these trips for myself first and foremost. Like, what do I want to do if I had if I could go somewhere? So okay, I want to go somewhere warm. I would want to bring 100 friends. We can train jiu-jitsu every day. Let's go on a boat trip, and we need to party and dress up like pirates and surf every morning and eat good food every night and repeat that for 7 days. So that's how I approach it. And then I kind of look at it like, okay, can we find that place and can we get the mats there? That's always the main thing. I get 100 ideas for camp places a month, but if they don't have mats already, I'm not touching it. Even it's just the logistics are just insane. Okay, so it's like that's how I approach it. I just think, where do I want to go and what do I want to do? What would be the ultimate holiday for me with friends? And I set that up, and then I kind of look at the numbers and see, I mean, what do we need to make this happen? And then I just hope someone wants to join me. And if they don't, I just end up paying for my own dream holiday, which would not be bad either. So that's how I do it. So I mean, there's nothing on the U.S. West Coast because I there's maybe someday someone comes up to me and say, hey, I got this place, you got to check it out. And I look at it, it's like, shit, that looks amazing, I want to go. And then I'll look at it. But it's not like just because I'm doing something on the East Coast that I also feel like I am obligated to do something on the West Coast. That's not how it works. And I really try to stay off of like mainstream locations. I think that the camps are of course, it's a travel experience, but it's a jiu-jitsu training kind of thing, but it's also a travel experience that you can't normally get on your own. Like I need it to be a difficult travel experience, because if I would never do something in like New York or I don't know, San Diego or London or something like this, because it's too easy. You can always go there. So I mean, again, that comes from, I do the trips myself. I want to go places that, a little bit off the beaten path, and so I always look to do camps in places that are difficult to get to, like that you could, but I mean, it's going to be really difficult for you to get to St. Bart's if nobody's here to help you, like, because it's expensive and it's difficult, and how are you going to get to Greenland ever, or like El Salvador, in the middle of nowhere in El Salvador, So that's kind of how I approach it. I do the camps for myself, and I look for places that are difficult to get to. I like the challenge of. I remember we did the first U.S. camp, and I was thinking, okay, maybe I should do something in the U.S. I haven't been there for a while, but it has to be difficult. So I was thinking, okay, let's try and set something up in the middle of nowhere in the forest somewhere. That was just my rough idea. And I researched it like 50 places or something. I looked into them and found this one place that was great. And the manager there, he was like, first of all, I'm always insanely nervous before every camp. It's like competition for me. Before the new camp starts, it's like I have no idea how this is going to be. I really hope people are going to like it. Of course, I put a lot of effort into setting it up and creating good experiences, but you never know if it's going to be boring or a terrible place or something. So I remember I arrived like at the first U.S. camp in the middle of the night, like 1 a.m. or something. It was dark and it was raining and it was muddy and it was in the middle of the forest. And I look into these little wooden cabins that are like it's like a kid's summer camp. The beds are really small, and like the bathrooms are like, just even the smell just hit me. Oof. And it just reminded me of like the summer camps when I was a kid in school. And I was like, shit, what is this? I got all nervous. I felt nervous like I did when I was a kid going to a summer camp. We did like a half-week trip or something in school. And we slept in tents and stuff. And I was like, oh, that just hit me. And it was dark and I couldn't see anything. And, I was like, shit, tomorrow morning, 100 people are going to show up for this. Like 100 adults. And I convinced them that it's a great idea for us to spend 5 days in the forest. It's muddy and it's full of spiders, and the beds are small, and like it's smelly, and like someone peed in the bed, or some kids peed in the beds, and it's like I was super. I was like, what the fuck have I done? And next morning I wake up, it's sunny, the lake is beautiful. I'm in the forest, and you kind of have to adjust to it. You kind of have to get out of your comfortable city life mode. And people started running, and it turned out amazing. It was a fantastic week. And the manager there was like, he asked me at one point, like, how on earth did you get 100 people to get to come here in the middle of forest? It's like a 3-hour drive minimum for anyone. Like and I was like, I actually have no idea how we pulled that off. I really have no idea, and I'm amazed that it worked out. It was a long shot. I planned all of that from like Scandinavia, sitting at home. Never been there before, so That was a long shot, but you know, it's a little bit like competing. It's very healthy to put yourself out of your comfort zone. It's pretty much the same now. I don't really have much time to compete anymore. I mean, it would take a lot of travel and time, which I don't really have. I would love to do it, but just not room in my life at the moment. So this is kind of my competition. You know, I really put myself out of my comfort zone. I convince hundreds of people to go somewhere, and I tell you guys, this is going to be amazing. But in reality, I have no idea. You know, I fake it till you make it, pretty much. But
Yes.
so far we did like 24 camps, and every single one of them were like a time of my life kind of experiences.
So, in terms of U.S. West Coast, we are spoiled, and anyone who tells you differently, honestly, California is Brazil with less crime and weirder laws. We don't need a camp. I'd love one, but if I could request a U.S. camp, and you may have done this already, Halloween comes every year, and we have in New Jersey the actual campsite where they filmed the Friday the 13th Jason horror movies. This is a real camp. It's in New Jersey, Halloween themed camp for jiu-jitsu at that campground. I'm sure you can rent it.
Okay, so this is how I do it when people suggest something. I kind of feel in my stomach, is that something I really want to do, like Halloween in New Jersey? And I'm sorry, I'm probably not going to go.
Well, it doesn't have to be Halloween, but because it's a cool camp. It's like it's an iconic place. So you have that the dock out by, you know, where you've seen the Jason movies, right?
Yeah.
It would be cool.
There's a lot of good ideas, but there's also a limit to like. And since the camps are extremely personal for me, as I said, it's like these are my trips. So I don't want to, you know, I don't want to, you know, what's it called? Like outsource them or franchise. And I get a lot of requests like, can I do a camp and call it a Globetrotters camp? And I don't ever want to do that. So I need to be there personally for every single camp because again,
absolutely.
Otherwise, you know, I wouldn't be as passionate as about designing the experience as I am. So there's a limit to how many camps I can do in a year. I mean, that's just how it is. So at this point, for this year, I was looking at 51 potential locations, researching every single one of them for all the logistics of. I mean, my basic checklist for a camp is like 380 items or 280, something like this. 300 items on the checklist. Basic checklist for checking everything is doable, and I came out with 8 camps out of the list of 51. So a lot of good ideas, but I only picked the perfect ones.
Well, if the East Coast is on the list again, it's actually beautiful. It's up in the mountains. It's not what people think when you think New Jersey. If you haven't been there, it's the Garden State. There's a lot of greenery. It's on a lake, but I think for a theme or something like that. Obviously, you already have interest in them. I just think it would be funny. Just all the pranks you can come up with and things. Someone would probably get hurt, I'm guessing, but it would be funny if you pulled it off. But
there's another aspect to it. It's like I think contrast in traveling is really something that creates some great experiences. Like that's what I've experienced. I like to go from between two places that are super different. I think if all the camps are kind of the same feel or theme, like I don't know, exotic locations, it wouldn't be the same. So I really try to make the camps as different as I possibly can. Also for myself, because I don't want to feel like I'm going to the same camp all the time. So I have the camp in the U.S. nature by a lake. You know, I have the surf camp in the Caribbean. You know, we have the big city camp, and you have the small camp. And so I really try to make them as different as possible. So I don't want to just copy one thing that works and then do it again somewhere else.
Have you done someplace really cold like Alaska yet?
Well, we did Greenland.
Okay,
that was pretty cold.
Yeah, I imagine as much.
I really want to do Greenland again for this. I want to do we do the winter camp in Austria, which is absolutely fantastic. It's like snowboarding, skiing, super intense for 4 days, and rolling 6 hours a day, and of course beer and schnitzel. But I really wanted to do like the ultimate winter camp in the winter in Greenland. It's kind of been my plan to set that up because I love Greenland so much. It was such a good experience. But the flights to get there are just insane from here. It's like it will take me 3 days to get there or something and cost like $4,000. So I'm not sure it's going to work out. I'm still plotting a little bit to make that work.
Well, if worst comes to worst, like you said, you have your dream vacation if it doesn't pan out. But I'm sure if the logistics happen, people will come. So they're obviously a hit by now.
That's how it usually goes.
Right on, man. So for me, I hate asking these questions because I don't have favorite things. Like I don't have a favorite food or a favorite color.
Are you going to ask me what's my favorite place I've been to?
Just a memorable one. Just something that sticks out. Just I need a good camp story. You don't have to say your favorite, but just a camp memory that sticks out. Something funny, something memorable. Just write whatever you got off the tip of your tongue.
I don't know. It's like asking me what's my favorite child. I love all the camps equally. I love all of them. That's why I do. And some of them I only do once because it's a great experience. But if I don't really feel like going back, then I'll just do something else. But good story. I don't know. People should just watch the Snapchat videos from the camps.
So is that at BJJ Globetrotter as well?
It's actually BJJ Globetrotter, like TR, because that cut off the name.
Character limit. Yep.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of awkward, but that's how it is.
Gotcha. And on Instagram, what's your Instagram, what's your Twitter, what's your Facebook, all that stuff, so people can get on there and digital stalk you and find all the information they need to find about getting on and visiting one of your camps around the world.
I think the easiest is just to go to bjjglobetrotters.com. That's like everything is there. And we have a list of affiliated academies. All of them offer 1 free week of training for visitors, and 3,000 individual members, all on one big Google map where you can, if you need to get in touch with someone, you're going somewhere. And there's the mat surfing, all the people that offer hosting travelers, and all the old newsletters. We have stories every month of people traveling, doing cool shit, and we just launched like a blog, like a hosting blogs there, so people can. We have a lot of people traveling who are blogging about it, and they do that on their website. Everything is there. There's links to the Facebook and Snapchat and Instagram and all that stuff.
So bjjglobetrotters.com, matsurfing.com, then
matsurfing.org.
Matsurfing.org. Okay.
As a nonprofit.
Oh, clearly, because as people know, like you can go on there, but if you're hosting, you can't charge for room and board. You can't charge for training as well. And am I leaving out anything as well?
No, I think that's about it.
Cool. And if people want to get the book, they can still do so on, I'm guessing, Amazon?
Yeah, it should be on Amazon. I haven't looked at it for 4 years or something. I think it's on Kindle. It's just like 99 cents. That was the lowest price I could set right now.
Oh wow!
So Kindle or I guess the Kindle app on an iPad, you can get it for $1. I don't know. Or you can get a physical copy on Amazon for something. I don't know. So like Amazon sends me a check now and then for like $3 or something. So I don't even know how that works anymore, but.
Well, it's a really good book. It's inspirational. It's well written. Do you have plans to do any more writing or?
That was a big project. It took me like a year of writing. And I'm not sure I'm going to do that again, to be honest. I've been taking notes for like a good 4 years, but I don't know. It's sometimes I look at it as like it just makes me sound too much like a life coach, and I really don't want to be a life coach. So. I think I'm never going to publish that stuff. I'd have like 700 pages written of different things, like just experiences with building this, and we'll see. Maybe I'll put it in a blog or something.
Yeah, I figure if I do anything notable, that these podcasts could just sort of be collated and maybe just torn apart and someone could write it for me, or maybe I can plagiarize myself. I don't know if I say anything interesting, but I'm leaving it to you guys coming on the show to tell your stories and to share how, you know, you've used jiu-jitsu and how it's helped you and sort of developed your lives into what they are now. And sort of, yeah, it's certainly done that for you. It's doing that for me, and everybody I'm meeting out there are having kind of the very, very different path, but all shared similarities in what they've gained from our art/sport, depending on who you talk to. It's both, but man, we're an hour in. I know you got kids to take care of, man. I really appreciate your time, Christian.
Even more important, I only have 2% battery left, so this is we timed it well.
We timed it extremely well. I really appreciate your time, man. Go get this guy's.
It's my pleasure.
Christian Graugart, BJJGlobetrotters.com. Follow him, get the book, go to one of his camps, and I'll have to catch up with you at one of these as well, man.
Or, of course, come visit me in St. Bart's. Everyone's always welcome. We have good training, and it's kind of nice here, as you can see. So.
Oh, don't threaten
Everyone is welcome all the time. I'll take good care of visitors.
Oh, awesome, man. Well, thank you very much, and have a great weekend.
Same to you. It's nice to talk to you.
Likewise, man. Cheers.
All right, bye.